Welcome back to the Wild Ones Pro Show. You are joining us after stage 6. I was going to say Zwift. Stage 6 of the Tour de France avec
Zwift.
Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. I'm Jimmy and I'm back with producer Emily.
Hello.
And cycling journalist Katie.
Hello.
That will sound very weird to someone tuning in for the first time. Like, what just happened for that intro? Well, that's what you get and deal with it.
So thank you once again to Garmin and Van Rysel for supporting the show and helping us to bring you these free daily highlights. So now let's get into them. I will hand it over to Katie.
So there was a huge fight for the breakaway today. Even Lorena Wiebes was trying to get away. Nothing was established when the intermediate sprint point arrived, and Elise Chabet, who'd just gotten ahead by that point, won that one, with Linda Zanetti, who was with her, second, although she was later relegated. But we're not sure why, as it happened before the live coverage began.
Ugh, so infuriating.
She might have like fully rugby tackled her to the ground, but we shall never know.
No.
On the first categorised climb of the day, a massive 20-rider strong group moved clear and opened up a modest gap, heading onto the second climb. The group split up again on that one, and it left us with a leading group of 12, included Elise Chabet, Liana Lippert, Pfeiffer Georgi, Silke Schmorders, Brodie Chapman and more, with the remainder of the break dropped and later caught. When coverage began, the peloton were a minute behind and the race was heading onto the long drag uphill to the major Category 1 climb, the biggest test of the day. Onto the categorised part of that climb, and the peloton edged closer to the break but didn't make a huge amount of headway, with Elise Chabet driving the pace at the front and keeping it quite high, and she was doing most of the work herself.
Interesting tactics. Obviously, Chabet is on FDJ Suez. She's currently only a minute 19, I think, back on GC she was at this point. So potentially hindering the breakaway from getting away further.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. She seemed to be looking over her shoulder a lot, maybe asking the others why they weren't coming through, but she was the one setting a really high tempo up those climbs. And yeah, it's an interesting one. Perhaps the team has said, just go for it. You're wearing QOM jersey. Let's keep defending that. And maybe they're saving her for later on in the race to support Demi, but it's a little bit of a strange one. And yeah, the break situation, we saw a similar thing on stage 20 of the men's race when Jordan Giga was away and they were all cross with him because he shouldn't have been there because he was preventing them from being allowed further away. So it was a strange one, but I get that she's there to get points. So
the only thing that I can think of, which I don't even like the theory of it, is they might be concerned, as in the team might be concerned, they're going to come away from this tour with nothing, and therefore securing a polka dot jersey would be a good result over no jerseys.
Or they're going for everything, but you know they want the GC, and now Elise has really got a good handful of those points, so actually they might come away with both. But I guess the question is, and we will only know by the end, have they spread their resources too thin?
Good question. Yeah, we won't know until we see how it unfolds in the mountains. But anyway, the gap dropped to 20 seconds as the breakaway reached the summit of the climb, and Silke Schmorders launched for the QOM first and sprinted against Chabet for the points. Chabet did win them though, and then the two got a bit of a jump on the rest to attack on the descent. Behind them, as expected, demon descender Cedrine Cabal of EF attacked from the bunch on the downhill, and only Cassia Nieuwiadome Finney was able to go with her, and the pair thundered down the hill towards the leaders, closing the gap rapidly and catching the second breakaway group as they headed onto the final categorised climb of the day. It all changed on the final climb, with the GC leaders group closing down the breakaway and a secondary group 30 seconds back on the road, which contained the white jersey. We were down to a group of just 22 riders in that GC group, and with 3 kilometres left to go on the climb, UAE Team ADQ's Mavis Squiban launched solo, and with GC group riding tempo up the climb, she quickly built her gap to over a minute. Chabet led the GC bunch down the descent, but Squiban added to her advantage on the flat, increasing her lead to 1 minute 30 with 15 kilometres remaining. There were GC bonus seconds available with 12.2k to go. Squiban took the maximum of 6 seconds, and a minute 30 later the GC group jostled for position, with Kim LaCour able to outsprint the rest to take 4 seconds, and Nieuwiadome Finney took the final 2 seconds ahead of Demi Vollering, who was left with nothing there. The GC group weren't able to make any impact on Squiban's lead on the long descent that followed, and the French woman won the stage after riding solo for 32 k's. She takes the win for France on stage 6, a year after Cédrine Cabal became the first French rider to win a stage at the Tour de France Femmes, also solo, also on stage 6. It was a really smart and powerful ride from the UAE rider, and the biggest moment in her career so far at the age of just 23.
I really like her name.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Squib on.
I'm just drawn to it. It's just I just quite like it.
It's cool. And her first name, Maeva, has like a, you know, the 2 little dots like over the E. So I don't know exactly how you're meant to say it. I feel like I need to hear her say it. It's like Maeva or something, but it's kind of cool, yeah.
Awesome ride from her today. Her descending was fantastic around some really windy, wiggly roads.
Yeah, we were wondering if she'd like reconned that, maybe that stage specifically, because she did seem really confident, and it was a really smart place where she attacked, and the GC group just, you know, they were just looking at each other, just keeping it easy at that point. So yeah, great move from her.
The road, it was, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I think usually because the climbs in these sort of races are just too big, but the descent looked like the kind of road I actually wanted to ride. It had been freshly tarmacked, well, exclusively if it was also a closed road. Freshly tarmacked, really, really pretty, and just kind of flowing so nice. Yeah, it was great to see her descend. It was class techers.
Juliette Labousse attacked from the GC group to take second, and Kim Lecourt once again out-sprinted Vollering to take third place and the final bonus seconds. So in the Jersey standings, there's no change at the top of the GC, as Kim Lecourt grabbed 10 bonus seconds in total today to extend her lead over Pauline Ferrand-Prévot to 26 seconds. But Nieuwiadoma Finney moves above Vollering into third, courtesy of those 2 bonus seconds she picked up at the bonus sprint. Elise Jabet added lots more points to her total today in the QOM competition. She extends her lead in that with 29 over Silke Schmolders, who's in second with 17. And there's no change in green, with Wiebes continuing to lead that one, and no change in the white jersey competition either, with Julie Bago retaining that one.
So, as you said, Katie, Demi missed out on bonus seconds again today in 2 places. Clearly, we know that she is an incredibly good climber. Today was classified as a mountain stage, and Jimmy, you were making the point that it didn't really ride like a mountain stage. It didn't feel like that, did it?
No, at best, it almost felt like it was undulating.
It was more hilly,
It almost wasn't even hilly. Like there was no big climb efforts, and didn't really seem like there was anything steep enough or technical enough to actually attack from or use as a platform, which perhaps is why nothing significant really happened in terms of GC.
And having a look at the profiles, tomorrow is categorised as hilly, and then we just have 2 stages left which are mountainous and contain horse category climbs. It feels like Demi's gambling on the final 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, she must back herself to be able to outclimb all of her rivals. We're not sure about Kim Lecourt's form over longer climbs. Obviously last year she did ride some longer climbs in the Grand Tours and is obviously capable of riding them, but I don't think we've seen her come to the fore in those kind of climbs. She's not ridden as a full GC rider before, though. She's only in her second year pro on the road. So it'll be really interesting to see how she handles them. But yeah, I think Vollering, maybe it just isn't worrying too much about these little sprints for bonus seconds, because if she can drop them all by 2 minutes on the Col de la Madeleine, then it's all academic, really.
This is it. But there is a distinct difference between this race and the men's race in the fact that there's less chances. You know, we're on stage 6 now. We only have 9 stages. So for a rider like her, I wonder if it's almost, I feel as a viewer, a frustration in the course design. And we were wondering whether it's to do with, you know, we're not seeing the full race every day. I think that we get to see it fully on a weekend, and that's when these mountain stages come. We're not getting to see the first, I don't know, sometimes 60k of the race, you know. So are they designing it where basically nothing happens so you don't feel like you've missed out? But from a rider's perspective, it gives less opportunity to make these big moves, and I think it's a disadvantage for riders like Vollering and the other GC women where that's their time to shine, because I don't think they get as much of it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think it's like as you said, they're like cramming all the action into these final sections, and we're seeing the same again tomorrow. You'll sort of hear in the preview how it's all crammed into the end, which is maybe designed with them knowing they're not going to televise the entire stage, but it just means that everything's riding on those two mountain stages. And it's a bit of a shame that I can understand why the GC riders are playing it safe, playing it a bit cagey, knowing that they have to save all their matches for those two huge stages. But yeah, it means that we get to see them taking less risks. Maybe it would be different if we had a full complement, like if we still had the likes of Rysel and it was a bit more of a full field. We've had, I think maybe they're also just all a bit, possibly just a bit worried, a bit nervous about staying fit and healthy all the way to the end.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Obviously, Demi will still be nursing some kind of injury. We've seen illness in the bunch as well. I mean, we're focusing on Demi here because she is a race favourite. But actually, if you look, as a counterpoint, if you do look at the GC timings right now, hers doesn't stand out. She's only a second behind Nuvia Dorma, and Pauline is around there as well. So actually, it's all to play for still, isn't it?
What do we think Labousse was up to? Because she attacked not too far from the end and effectively took bonus seconds. Well, you could argue she took bonus seconds away from Vollering. So is there an argument that the team are nervous about Vollering in sprints, and therefore if you send someone up the road, your competitors are also getting less advantage?
Well, yeah, you're right, and that she took seconds away from Vollering, but she also took seconds away from Vollering's rivals as well,
Correct.
didn't she? Yeah. So maybe that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it could be a defensive tactic. I think that is a fair comment. We've seen that Demi isn't that confident in the sprints. We talked about it yesterday in these little intermediates and these little bonus sprints. And at the moment, Kim Lecourt is by far the strongest when it comes to these little punchy, fast moments. Vollering can rely on her climbing skills, but also, as we've said, she might be nursing some injuries and just not want to have that exertion of just throwing herself at a line for the sake of 2 or 4 seconds. So yeah, Labousse maybe did the smart thing for the team and went and swept up a big chunk of them today. So that could be a fair point.
She does seem to sprint really well, though. It looks like she's not going to be competitive in the sprint, and then she's right there. But always the final stage sprint, she seems to, yes, was it yesterday she nearly won? Mm-hmm. God, it feels like 2 weeks ago. And then today again, it was very competitive. So I don't know, maybe if she did have a lead out instead, it would have been different, perhaps.
It's about energy, though, isn't it? All of these things take energy, and as Katie sort of said before, you have to, if you are saving yourself, if there is less opportunity, then you have to. The currency of, what was it? The currency of...
it was energy, wasn't it?
Energy, yeah. The currency of energy, yeah.
Where
you have to spend it wisely. We had some DNSs today, didn't we?
Yes, 2 more riders dropped out before the start of the stage. Valentina Cavalar from Arkea B&B Hotels and Mia Bjorndal Otterstadt of UnoX Mobility. And
UnoX, this is becoming a little bit of a trend for them, isn't it?
Yeah, we think that they're maybe in line to grab the doomed jersey the next time we award it, because they're down to 3 riders now. 4 of their riders have withdrawn. I think 3 of them were injured in yesterday's crash. They'd already lost Rebecca Kerner through illness. So it's, just 3 riders left. It's not too good.
Did we find out any more information on that crash? And nothing has come through, has it?
I haven't seen anything. No.
Oh, so frustrating, isn't it? Because it's not normal for there to be a crash and, 5 or 6 riders abandon off the back of it.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, unless literally a fan was standing there with a camera and put it onto social media, we've got no hope of seeing it. So, and another possible doomed rider in line for the jersey, Little Trek's Neve Fisher-Black. She had a mechanical issue on the climb, and we saw her, or it was coming down the descent actually, she was riding the Shimano neutral service with no way of getting her own bike back, and her teammates ahead of her unable to kind of swap. She lost loads of time and is effectively out of GC contention now, unfortunately.
That's disappointing.
Tell us about the People's Champion, Jimmy.
Oh, yes. So we put the poll out on the YouTube channel thing yesterday.
I don't know.
Whatever day it was. I need to stop trying to work out what days things happened. 1,300 of you voted, and it is our closest competition thus far. There was 13 votes between it. And the current or new, I can't remember whether we've done it yet or not. So the current and new People's Champion is Alison Jackson.
Yay.
Kim LaCourt's in there. She can't be in there now anyway, can she?
Well, we let Ben Healy in there, and it depends whether you think that she's in line to win. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe she didn't win anyway. Though, so
was in there, wasn't he?
Van der Poel
and he was wearing yellow
also
at the time, I think. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Her popularity outweighs her other GC success, but anyway, she hasn't won, so it's fine.
We did get there was quite a few comments under the poll with Brazilian flags. So I think Tota has got some strong support on social.
Nice.
But unfortunately didn't win. Well,
that is the People's Champion jersey so far, but it can all change hands. We shall see how it fares in the next vote.
Yeah, which actually is going to have to be soon.
Probably soon, yeah. That's tomorrow, Jimmy and Emily's problem, so we'll leave it for them.
Exactly, yeah.
Jimmy's Data Corner.
Jimmy's Data Corner. I need a jingle for this, don't I? Right, okay, so we are going to look at Sarah Gigante's data from yesterday.
This is when she did that massive turn on the front for Kim LaCourt.
Correct, exactly that, yes. So she's using the Garmin 840. It seems like a lot of pros use the 840 because I guess it's smaller, isn't it? But it's not too small. Anyway, by the by, she did 172 kilometers yesterday, 1,765 meters of elevation, normalized power of 193, which got her an average speed for the day of 42 kilometers per hour. And on the final climb, which I can't remember how it's pronounced, so I'm not going to attempt, it was 2.71 kilometers long, 150 meters of elevation, which is a 5.6% average. She did that in 5 minutes and 54 seconds with an average of 28 kilometers per hour and watts of 286.
Nice.
Done a bit of digging. I'm pretty certain that she weighs 52 kilos or thereabouts, meaning that she was riding at 5.5 watts per kilo for nearly 6 minutes. So if you are a person that weighs 80 kilos, for example, you would have to do 440 watts for the same duration to be able to do that climb at the same speed that she did.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Nice.
Oosh.
Oosh. The Wild Ones Pro Show is supported by Garmin.
And we are in some really good company because Garmin also supports some of the very best riders in the Tour de France and the Tour de France fam.
Yeah, they work with teams like Visma Bikes, Soudal Quick Step, SD Works Pro Time, FDJ Suez, and many more.
And because Garmin provides these teams with trainers, head units and wearables, they've got access to mountains of incredible data.
And they're going to share some of that data with us throughout the coming stages. So we'll get a really interesting insight into the physical demands of the most prestigious bike races in the world.
So please stay tuned for that. And once again, thanks to Garmin for supporting the show.
How would you like to win a Van Rysel RCR-F 105 Di2 worth £5,000?
I would love to. I've ridden that bike. It is proper good.
Well, sorry, Jimmy, you can't. But one of our UK listeners will, thanks to our sponsor, Van Rysel.
That's class. The RCR-F is literally a Tour de France race bike.
Yeah, the official bikes of Decathlon, AG2R, Le Mondial.
The 105 version has the same grade of carbon that the pros ride.
So to enter the draw to win this bike, click the link in our description. You must be a UK resident, age 18 or over, and T's and C's apply. One winner will be chosen by Van Rysel and contacted by them a week after the draw closes at midnight on August 4th. I sound like one of those radio adverts, don't I?
No, it wasn't fast enough. So good luck, and thanks to Van Rysel for supporting the Wild Ones Pro Show.
So we talked about it very briefly, but Katie, could you please talk us through the stage tomorrow, stage 7?
Sure thing, I will. Beginning in Bourg-en-Bresse, stage 7 is a day of 2 halves, or maybe 2/3 and a third. Not as catchy. With the first 2/3 of the profile almost completely flat, while the final third packs in a series of climbing challenges that should see the peloton splinter and potentially spark a GC battle. 159.7 kilometres in length, the race heads south to Chambéry with an intermediate sprint at 73 kilometres. The final 50k features 3 categorised climbs, beginning with a Cat 2, which should see everything break up, then a Cat 4, which continues on uphill on an uncategorised section that will be a tough challenge. The final climb is the longest, a Cat 2 of 8.9 kilometres at 5.4%. The best climbers will have plenty of time to try and drop their rivals, but that's not the end of the story. From the summit of the final climb, it's all downhill. Just over 17 kilometres of descending stands between the riders and the finish line, and daring descenders such as Cabal and Nuvia Doma Finney will fancy their chances at getting ahead and maybe staying away.
17 kilometres?
And it's literally like straight downhill.
Wowee.
I mean, it probably isn't straight downhill. They probably like, zigzag or whatever. But if you look at the profile, which I'm sure some people will be able to do, it just looks like a straight downhill line. So it's going to be really fast.
Wow, that might be a bit sketchy. I hope not. That like descent crashes are not, they're really nasty.
Descending to the finish line is a little bit.
Well, yeah, I feel like there was talk about.
I think it's not allowed in the men's race.
Well, I was about to say that. Yeah, there was talk about removing that for, in the pursuit of improving rider safety. Descents into finish lines is not a good thing.
Maybe I've not seen it like visually, so maybe it is just very gradual.
Flattens off at the end.
Hairpins, and I don't know, but hopefully it's a nice, safe one.
Fingers crossed, everyone stays up safe and upright. Stays safe and upright.
That's like that can be your new catchphrase.
Stay up safe, and blah blah blah. End of sentence. I'm honestly, my brain is working at about 20%.
Stop talking.
Capacity now.
You're not present right now. I think this could be a good one. I feel like this is getting close enough to the end that like Nia Doma, you're right. She might actually attack this.
Oh, she will. She 100% will. And we could see time gaps because. It's going to be down to daring and bravado, and it's going to be a bit scary.
Presumably, if you're going to attack over the top of the climb, you're going to want to have a bit of space as well. So we really might see some fireworks on this one.
Well, actually, that's a good point you make. So somebody like I'm picking on Vollering again just because she is the most high profile rider. She's obviously very good at descending because most of them are very good at descending, but she's not the absolute top-notch descender. So she might attack on the climb to get herself that space. And
effectively neutralise someone like Nia Doma.
Yeah, maybe. So interesting.
Okay. Cool. Looking forward to it.
Yes, well, we shall find out what happens and we shall tell you all about it tomorrow night. Same time, same place. And until then, goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.